Hey guys, I hope we're doing good. Today's episode is about, more specifically, what things do you need to do, what things do you need to take control over in your life to have more responsibility, to have more control, to have more power in your life. And this is kind of like a soundboarding session. I've created some frameworks I think will be really valuable for you. And please subscribe, share and like this thing. So the big question is this: how can dyslexics like us create a place, a community, a tribe where people at any stage of life can come and solve any challenge, amplify their strengths and ultimately help them become who they were meant to be, or in other words, conquer their dyslexia? That is the question, and this show is the answer. My name's Theo Goff and welcome to the Conquering Dyslexia podcast. Hello guys, I hope we're doing good and alright. Today, I want to have a little conversation about something I've recently discovered and has been like planning out. So I don't know if you know, I'm writing basically a lot more updated version of the Conquering Dyslexia book. Because I did it, I created this Conquering Dyslexia book, started creating it 4 years ago, and it took me 3 years to finish publishing it. And within that 4 years, I've been obsessed on helping other people with dyslexia. And I've learned a hell of a lot since that time. Loads of things about dyslexia, because I know my experience, but learning from other people's experiences about the common traps that people go down, and so much. And that's why I've been writing a book, a new one, and so kind of going over the same fundamental principles, but talking about them in more understandable detail and a little bit more distinction, so you can take it and use it more in your life, and a lot more frameworks and tested frameworks, because before I had a framework that I used myself but not 100% road tested with everyone else. And basically one thing I've always wanted to create, and I never really found how to create it or the elements to create it, was about taking responsibility. Because I'm so obsessed on people taking responsibility of themselves and of their dyslexia, because that's the first step with conquering it, is realizing, I have dyslexia and ultimately I have to take responsibility of it. Because to get where I want to go, to be able to use this thing as a gift, to be able to not have it just use me, you have to start taking responsibility for what it is. Start taking responsibility, saying, look, I can improve it. I can get over there, but it's only up to me to get there. Because a lot of the things saying, if people with dyslexia don't have all the help and support growing up, they'll never succeed. And that is total lies. It is lies if you're listening to this now. Because if you're listening to this now, you know you've got to take responsibility of your dyslexia. You know that the circumstances do not define you. Even if other people say, look, we've got to have this help for other people, otherwise they'll end up as bad as me. The circumstances don't define you. Okay? So in order to get where you want to go, you have to do different things. You have to do different things, learn new stuff, get out there and try and develop. And really how I define the word responsibility is really deep. Because the word actually responsibility was created meaning response able, response ability. Response able, that's what it means. And what it means is the ability to respond, how able you are to respond to any given situation or every situation that happens. Think about it. We have our environment and the situation around us, and how we respond to that matters. For example, literally today, I did plan on doing this this live here, this podcast thing here, but doing of this one, I was going to do about something else, but because I had I was just kind of a brainwave, and I spent an hour writing down stuff for the book and doing a lot of bits and bobs. And then I wanted to do this because I was running out of time, and went downstairs to fill up my water bottle and do stuff. And then I spoke to my brother for half an hour, and then came upstairs and this sort of stuff. And how I responded to each individual situation is about me taking responsibility. Because if I respond to it in a way that's not in my best interest, in a way that's not the best, then I'm not taking responsibility. But that's one level, and I look at things at a lot more deeper level. because my definition of taking responsibility basically means taking responsibility is being able to control everything in your life you have control over. Having control of that. And I don't mean externally, I mean everything internally. And guess what? We can control so much more than we could ever think we have. And we have the power to control so much more of our own lives than we could ever imagine. We have so much power we have yet to tap into. And so understanding how we work as humans, what are the elements how we work as humans, and then start controlling that into our own life. Because I realize there's 6 fundamental areas. This is why I call it responsibility 6. I'm going to go through them. I want to make a little analogy. 6 fundamental areas of our lives that you have to take responsibility over that will drastically improve our life. And now these things are basically things that happen every single day. These happen every single day, and they're a lot very, very internal. They're things that we do with our lives, okay? There are 6 things. The first one, and I'm going to do that basically of kind of order of importance, if you will. Maybe. I haven't really worked this out now, but I've kind of just really wrote this down. I think it's so amazing. I really want to share it, okay? So kind of like order of importance. So, okay, let's take responsibility of our life and take control over everything we have control over. Well, what do we have control over? First thing we have control over, our emotions. Or in another word, our state. Now, this is the top of the top most valuable thing you can do. Because how you feel moment for moment massively dictates what you're going to do, massively dictates the quality of your life. Because if moment to moment you feel down and depressed, you live in a down, depressed way. But moment to moment you feel energetic, energized, like passionate, loving, then your life is passionate and loving and motivated and energized. Because how we feel moment for moment, that dictates the quality of our life more than anything else. And to really teach you, okay, how to affect your state or your emotion, the same sort of thing. And there's a science behind it. But most people don't know the science, and most people neglect the science. And I'm going to say it to you very quickly here. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail in it, but just very quickly. So there's 3 things that affect how we feel day to day, and moment to moment. 3 things. If you always feel down and depressed, if you always feel happy, if you want to know why someone's always laughing, why someone's always upset, why someone's always miserable, it's because of these 3 things. And these 3 things are patterns that we do, okay? First one is how we move our physiology. Our physiology basically means how we move our body. If we move our body in a really slow way, looking down, shoulders down, breathing shallow, head down, talking quietly, like shy, then guess how that will make us feel? Shy, depressed, down, sad, lonely. And if you walk around a day like this, how much is dyslexia going to affect us? A lot more. If you walk around with our head down, with our shoulders down, slumped, we feel the effects of dyslexia so much more, and therefore it will use us in our life so much more. But if you move our body in a different way, shoulders back, head up, looking forward, breathing fully, gesture with our hands, big wide gestures, guess how we're feeling then? We'd feel confident, we'd feel happy, we'd feel energetic. Because the way you move your body dictates how you're feeling. And for example, if you're not feeling great at all, you radically change your body to be able to speak and feel in a way that you're top of the top, the 10 out of 10. So then that will dictate your focus, that will dictate your actions and so many other things, okay? So how you feel firstly is affected by your physiology, the way you move your body. It's breathing, that's blinking, that's squeezing, that's your muscle tension, all these things. First thing. Second thing that affects the way you feel is your focus. Wherever your focus goes, energy flows. If you always focus on what's negative, you're going to feel negative. If you always focus on what's right and what's positive, you're going to feel that. It's not all positive thinking. It's being realistic, saying, I don't want to focus on all the stuff that's happening with Corona, all this bad stuff, because guess how that can make me feel? That's going to make me feel really bad and really rubbish. And that means I'll act in a really, that means I won't be able to be in a great way for other people, okay? So that's it. And the third thing that affects the way you feel is language. The language or the metaphors we use or the questions we ask ourselves. Because if I said to myself, you're lying, versus, I disagree with you on that. how would that make you feel? Is it a different of emotion? Well, you bet it is. If I'm saying you're lying, it feels like I'm attacking you. Or if I'm saying feel like, oh, well, I disagree with you on that. Different feelings. I could say it be meaning the same thing, just using different language. Say, for example, we say, oh, he stabbed me in the back, versus we had a difference of opinion, or we have different values. That affects your feeling totally differently, does it? So these are the language. Because if you use certain language, more aggressive, more elaborating language that elaborates on all the negative and makes it feel like it takes over your life, and that's the way it's going to feel for you, okay? So those are 3 things that can affect your emotion, the way you move your body, what you focus on, and language you tell yourself. Also, these things like questions. If I say things to myself about, oh, what can I be excited about? What can I look forward to? Who do I care about? What can I be grateful for? That would make me feel in a certain way. But if I ask questions like, how can I get through the day? How can I make the time go faster so this lesson can be ended? How can I not look embarrassed? How can I not be miserable? That's going to make you feel in another sort of way. Does that make sense? So that's emotion. Emotion is incredibly important, okay? That's the first thing we've got to take responsibility of, how we feel. And the second, I repeated these, but the second thing we've got to take responsibility of, our focus. Whatever we focus on, we get. Okay? Whatever we focus on, we get. Number 3, meaning. What does things mean to us? Because basically in these 3, so there's the focus, meaning, and action. We make these decisions all the time. Every single moment we're alive, we make these things. Focus, meaning, and action. What are we going to focus on? What do things mean to us? And what are we going to do? These things dictate the quality of life, dictate our decisions. What are we going to focus on? Whether it's right, whether it's bad, whether it's good, whether it's not good. What things mean to us? This means they hate me. This means I can't do this. This means this means this person's annoying me. This means this person hates me. This means my dyslexia is useless. These 3 decisions are so important. There goes to the final two. The final 2 things we have to take responsibility over is our beliefs. What do we believe about ourselves? Now, what a belief is just a feeling of certainty about something. That's it. It's just an opinion about what it is, but it's a feeling of certainty. So we feel it's a strong opinion. That's all it is. But our beliefs control us so much so if we believe we can't do something, then we won't be able to. Because it'll physically control, stop us doing it, because we believe, what's the point? I can't do this anyway. For example, if there's me and someone else who's a genius, and he believes he can't pass a simple English test, and I believe I can, I will pass and he will fail, and that's happened. Because he has said certain things to himself, meaning he wouldn't take the actions necessary to prepare, to practice, to study, to try. And therefore he won't get it, and I will, because he believes he can't. Not because of a matter of capability, but a matter of belief. And finally, like we said, language. I said this before, language. But the words we use to describe certain things, so important. Now, these kind of 6 things may develop over time. I don't know. I just want that because there's a big overlap of things. If I'd say emotions, and I go in detail about how to affect the emotions, and we go on focus, meaning, and language. Focus, physiology, and language. We said a lot of that stuff here. So I'll probably work on this, guys, but I'm kind of using you as like a soundboard. I hope you don't mind, about how things are working. And yeah, guys, I hope you're doing all right. And it'll mean the world to me if you subscribe, share, comment, all these sort of stuff. All right, guys, take care, farewell, and bye.